Well, good morning. Happy Halloween. I've decided to celebrate the last day of October with an early morning gravel ride that for me I'll call somewhat scary long, 25-ish miles. Starts and ends on pavement, and in between there's traverses the top of the Red Cliffs National Conservation Area on Forest Service roads. Quite beautiful. Weather's stunning. Looking forward to enjoying this crisp fall morning, and hope you'll come along with me. We should see some, if you watch some of our other Utah gravel videos, you might recognize this part. This is Cottonwood Springs Road, and Diana and I did an out and back on this a few weeks ago, trying kind of an exploratory ride to help me figure out how to do a bigger loop. Okay, so just a little bit of intel on this part of the ride. On either side is the Red Cliffs National Conservation Area, and if you've watched pretty much any of our Utah videos, at least the ones around home, you know that that's kind of in our backyard and a great playground, particularly for mountain biking, gravel biking. And so this road basically will continue a gradual climb. I think for probably the first hour it's gradual climbing. So we'll continue grinding up, and I'll check in a bit. The road surface here is better. It's much less washboard and almost concrete-like, which is wonderful. Nice change of pace. Hey, I'm coasting a little. Nice to be coasting. Amazing what you take for granted. That suddenly seems like such a treat. Not a trick, but a treat. I think I mentioned this in a prior video, how the Pine Mountains never seem to get any closer, even though I'm about 6 miles closer now than I was when I started. They just keep receding into the background. When I was a kid, we used to listen to a radio show. I think it was a rebroadcast called The Shadow. And the tagline was, "Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of man? Only the shadow knows." Roughly hour one, a little over an hour, but that includes several stops like this one. This is Mesa Rim Trailhead. I don't know anything about this one either. There's a couple vehicles parked with empty side-by-side or ATV trailers, so probably popular with that set. I can see over here a trailhead and another parking area. Probably goes up onto the mesa. Lucky guess, since it's called Mesa Rim. But I think the Pine Mountains look a little closer here. Now I just kind of settle into more of a gradual climb, but really the first, I don't know, 90 minutes of this ride is just a gradual climb, which is great for training. Never a heartbreak. The heartbreak climbs come towards the end. So there's no rush for those. We'll get to those. But I'm gonna have a little snack here at hour one, and then continue on up. Onward and upward. Kind of start to see a little change of environment here, of ecosystem. More brush on the hills, or denser brush. And here's the first taste of alpine. I believe these are pinyon pines. First trees of the day. Even better than trees, maybe? Our first downhill. It's short, but sweet. Trick or treat. good for downhills. Well, nice while it lasted. In honor of Halloween, I've christened this Ghost Tree Meadow. Old wildfire burn area. And it goes on for a mile that way plus. Sad to see that, but good to see undergrowth coming back. Someday this will be lush again. Meanwhile, it's kind of spooky. And Pine Mountains are getting a little closer. You can see up here we're going to start into the, I call it the tree line. Not in a traditional sense, but just the point on this ride at which the trees go from fairly sparse to really dense. Looking at Signal Peak. I think that's 10,000 something, 10,143 feet, something. We're gonna get into the rollers now. And I just came up a short one. And I think ahead of me is one of the scary downhills. Why? Well, because I have pretty weak mechanical disc brakes, although if you watch my other videos, you know I've put compressionless cables in, which has greatly improved the strength. I also have a new set of handlebars that I'm really trying out on this ride, which I'll talk about in a separate video, but the gist of it is they're shallower, and so it's easier to get into the drops. You know, you don't have to be hinged as much. You don't have to be as low to be in the drops, and in the drops is where obviously your maximum braking power is. I'm really liking them, so I'll do a quick summary review of those bars in another video. But right now the ground looks devoid of gravel, which could greatly enhance or reduce the scariness of this, but there's nothing. It's a turn you don't want to miss. Yeah, here's where it gets super steep. Not too bad so far though. I'm gonna let it rip. Yeehaw! Ah, what a beautiful day. Sure would be nice to have suspension here. All right. Survived. Not too bad, actually. Not too shabby. I'll take it. These bars help, as do the compressionless line. Oh my. Didn't expect to see a Camaro out here. Only in Utah. Now there's some fall color. This is a pretty little Cottonwood Creek gorge. This is an interesting area because it's got like a patch of slick rock, which is kind of unique for most of this ride. I'm going to take a quote-unquote lunch break here, snack break. Here on this cool slick rock area. I know what's coming. It's going to be, I've had a lot of downhill in the last 10 minutes and I had to give all that back. So I want to get some calories in me and get it into my bloodstream before the climbing starts in earnest. There'll be some more up and down. Another cool canyon to show you in a few minutes, but first, let's have a snack and enjoy this view of the aspens. Not too bad for October 31st. You know, we talk about trail food a lot. There's a book called Feed Zone Portables. I'm sure some of you have heard of it, if not most of you, but it's a book by Alan Lim, I think is his name, and another Bijou. These are chefs who worked on Tour de France teams. Anyway, they have a really nice cookbook with a lot of ideas for portable food that you make. So if you're like me and you get tired of like super sugary stuff like blocks and shots and goos, then this is a nice alternative. These are corn cakes. They're made with masa flour, and they hold together surprisingly well, and they're easy to eat. I throw blueberries into the recipe to give them a little bit more moisture, but yeah, I'll put a link to the book in the description. If you're looking for portable snack ideas, it's really good. So let's eat. The middle third of this ride is truly the meat in the sandwich, or the peanut butter. It's beautiful. Lots of rollers, lots of trees. Very, very pretty and peaceful. Try not to think about the climb out of this canyon. It'll get here. Meanwhile, it's a lot to keep you distracted, as you'll see in a minute. First time I came around a corner and saw this canyon, I couldn't believe my eyes. You know, rolling along on a road, seemingly flat, land on either side. And you come out around the corner, and out of the corner of your eye, you see this. And then it just unfolds and unfolds and unfolds, and it's pretty marvelous. Pretty marvelous. To share it with a lot of people today. Yuck, yuck, yuck. They even built, they being nature, maybe, a nice continuous staircase. I'll still be careful, because I am far from home, still. Look at that. It's like elephant skin. It's crazy. I won't get too close to the edge. Ask my kids how I feel about heights. They'll just laugh. They'll laugh at me. I do want you to see. Incredible. Look at that. There's Signal Peak, and that's Trail Peak. Yesterday we were on the other side of those mountains in Pine Valley. We got a lot of exploring to do out there. I mean, it wouldn't be Halloween if I didn't scare myself. And being 10 feet from the edge of this rock does scare me a little bit, I must admit. On up there. Looks pretty intimidating. Also pretty. Oh, this is pretty. We're actually going to pass through a farm. Believe it or not, somebody is bold enough to put a farm back here. These trees are beautiful. I call this a tunnel of love. Even on Halloween there can be love. Some people love to be frightened. Look at this. Oh. Wow. Holy smokes. How about that? How about that for a treat? Look at this. Just crazy. Up. You know, in Halloween stories, they're always talking about things looming. Well, I guess creatures are looming, or shadows. Well, here, it's the last kicker that's looming, slashed, like by Freddy. If Freddy uses a knife, I don't know. I don't watch horror movies. Too scary. But the climb is slashed across the hillside. And I gotta get up that thing. And it's gotten warm. Anyway, onto the slasher climb. Let's finish it before it finishes me. All right, that's a good feeling. And that is, wow, a good view. I'm gonna run out of battery soon, but that's okay, because most of the ride is done, but I just had to spare a little bit for this. God, I know the GoPro doesn't pick it up the way the human eye does, but man, if you were out here, you'd be impressed, even scared how good this frighteningly wonderful view is. And then speaking of scary, this is a long downhill. Definitely test the brakes. So let's get that underway and get her done. It's been a great morning. I'm almost to pavement, so I'm gonna end this here and then I'll catch up briefly when I get home. Let you know what the mileage was. But beautiful day. Downhills weren't as bad as I remember. I think the bars, which I'll be talking about soon, are a huge help. So anyway, thanks for coming along on this Halloween haunt, and hope you had a great Halloween. Got lots of candy, pumpkin spice latte, pumpkin beer, whatever your flavor is. Enjoy. And tomorrow's November. Hard to believe, but bring it on. Alright, well, I made it home. And I earned a trick-or-treat badge from Garmin. How appropriate is that? And let's see, 34.36 miles, 4:21 total time. So that was a big ride, and like 3,300 feet of elevation gain. Big day. Scary big day. So now the reward. Time for some trick-or-treat candy.